Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my Cyberdark Yugioh deck profile for August 2018. Wanted to bring you guys just a kind of cyber deck. I know you guys, a lot of you have requested that I do a Cyber Dragon deck lately with the release of all the new support. I thought I'd wait for the Cyber Dragon deck when Legendary Duelist 3 comes out, and we get the rest of the support, because we've gotten so much Cyber Dragon support throughout the year. But back to the Cyberdark deck. I wanted to do this deck for quite some time, just with all the support they've received from the Legendary Duelists themselves. It's an overall very fun deck, and I've seen that, you know, Cyberdark Dragons and a bunch of the stuff has actually been going up in price, so I think people are actually gaining some popularity in the deck, and I think a big part of why that is because we had the recent reprint of Cyberdark Impact in the Shadows of Valhalla set. But enough talking, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the Cyberdark monsters, I run 3 Cyberdark Horn. With this one, if it's normal summoned, like all the main Cyberdark machine monsters, you can target one level 3 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard, equip that dragon monster to this card. It gains attack equal to its original attack of the monster equipped to it by this effect. And if this card attacks a defense monster, you inflict piercing battle damage. If it would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy the monster equipped to it instead. So it's great protection overall with the Cyberdark monsters. The biggest problem we had with them before is that we didn't have dragon monsters to equip onto easily, but thankfully we have Cyberdark Cannon and Claw now to use with the deck. But 3 Cyberdark Horn, just because you really want to gain access and have plenty of these in the graveyard and field to use for your fusion summons. And I also run 3 Cyberdark Keel. With this one, if it's normal summon, you target one level 3 or lower dragon monster, equip it to this card, gains attack equal to the original attack, and if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 300 damage to your opponent. If this card be destroyed by battle, destroy the monster equipped to it by the effect instead. So with this, basically, you have that burn damage that you can inflict to your opponent, which each one does different effects, with Horn being able to do piercing, Keel doing burn damage, and the last of the main trio, Cyberdark Edge, having the same equip effect as the other ones. It can attack directly when it has a monster equipped to it, and if it does, its attack is halved during the damage calculation only, and it has the same protection effect as well. So with all 3 of them, you just mainly want to normal summon this card or any of the other 2, you equip a dragon monster onto it, and then use their respective effects, which each one, depending on when you want to, you know, obviously summon it out, can come in handy when you're going up against your opponent. And then for the backup Cyberdark monsters, I run 3 Cyberdark Cannon. Cannon and Claw both have effects where they discard and search out cards. With Cannon, if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can draw 1 card. You can only use each of the following effects of Cyberdark Cannon once per turn. You can discard this card, add 1 machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand, and during damage calc, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. So being able to stock up that graveyard is one of the reasons why I justify running 3 of each of these Cyberdark monsters. So if you can open up Cannon, send it, search, and then basically equip onto it, you can then just send the rest of them to the graveyard to build up for your fusion plays, like I said. And I also run 3 Cyberdark Claw. With this one, if this card is in the graveyard, if sent to the graveyard while equipped, you can target 1 Cyberdark monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each of the following effects of Claw once per turn. You can discard this card, add 1 Cyberdark spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and during damage calc, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. The extra deck part is pretty important because there's some pretty awesome plays we can do, which I'll get to later on, with this deck revolving around cards in your extra deck. But you also search out the spell and traps for the Cyberdarks, so depending on which one you need, can help for your fusion plays or just for setup of your field. And that's it. Oops, as I mess up with the monsters. For the monsters in the deck, I tried to go as pure of a Cyberdark build as I could, and I think just 3 of everything just helps work it all well so much together. You want to be able to open up these to discard to search out these and the spell and traps, and then just opening up these in general. Like I said, as long as you end up having dragons in the graveyard to work with, works out in the end. And then moving on to the spells, I run 3 Cyberdark Inferno. With this field spell, Cyberdark effects, monsters you control that are equipped with equip cards cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects, and you can target one Cyberdark monster you control, return it to the hand, then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one Cyberdark monster. You can only use the effect of Cyberdark Inferno once per turn, and if this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add one polymerization spell or a fusion spell from your deck to your hand. So being able to add the Overload Fusion, which is the fusion card we run in the deck, very easily to your hand, and then the added protection for your Cyberdark monsters overall is just very, very helpful for the deck when you want to get off your different plays, and when most of them are at 2400 attack, your opponent just has to result to big swings to get over them. And I also run one Future Fusion. Now with this, you run plenty of dragon monsters in the deck with the form of the Cyberdark monsters. So I run this just for the 5-headed dragon to send them to the graveyard if it's successful. Building them all up in the graveyard comes in handy, and then if you just open up the other Cyberdark machine monsters, you can then basically just equip them back since they're in the graveyard already, and then make use of their other effects. Biggest thing also is draw consistency. So 3 Allure Darkness, they're all dark, so being able to wade through the plenty of copies that we run as well, just to draw more helpful things, definitely does come up. And same goes for Pot of Duality, just because fusion summoning in this deck does come later on. Most of the time, if you're not going to be able to fusion summon early on, but this Pot of Duality in the deck, being able to search for what you need, especially if it's one of the dragon monsters, then discarding them for even more search, especially, just very, very helpful altogether, because like I said, you want to either draw with the Allure into what you need, or just search it out with Duality. And I also run 2 Cyberdark Impacts. This card, you fusion summon one Cyberdark Dragon from your extra deck by returning one of each horn, edge, and keel from your hand, graveyard, or anywhere on your field to the deck as fusion materials. So just the easiest way to get out Cyberdark Dragon with this card for an easy fusion summon. So definite 2 of, just because of the 2 Cyberdark Dragons that I do run in the deck. And 3 Overload Fusion. This is for, just for easier options. So you gain access to the fusion summon, and the fact that you have means to search out the fusion card, which you do with Cyberdark Impact as well. But you have different cards as well that search out the Overload Fusion. So just being able to grab that. Plus you have your Cyber Darkness Dragon, which you can fuse into also. So you can't do it with Cyberdark Impact. So you need the cards to make that card also in the deck. And then I also run 1 Upstart Goblin, just for the added draw consistency, and 2 Twin Twisters. Now this is for just additional back row, because when you're investing in your plays, obviously in this deck, if you end up just messing up with that overall combo, it can really mess up a lot of your plays. Plus, another thing I found is if you already have like the Cyberdark cards you need in your hand, and you have one of the dragons in your hand, you can just discard it for the Twin Twister, and then have it in the graveyard to re-equip with one of the Cyberdark machine monsters. If you don't want, if you want to run more dragon monsters, I found Dragoonity Phalanx, just with its own equip effect, does come in handy. You can take out the Upstart and then maybe one of the dualities to put into that as well. But like I said, it's just if you wanted more dragon options for sure in the deck to go for altogether also. And I also run, for the trap lineup, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Judgment, and 2 Solemn Strikes, just to add extra protection, because when you set up your 2400 attack point effect monster, or get your fusion out, if there's a big extra deck monster or just a bigger monster in general that can come out, just want easy ways to handle it. And then 1 Bottomless Trap Hole for the Rafflesia XC we run, and 2 Storming Mirror Force, just to round up the traps we play for that added protection. But that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra. I run 2 Cyberdark Dragon. With this, you require, like I said earlier, the Horn, Edge, and Keel to fusion summon into this card. And this monster cannot be special summoned except by fusion summon. And when this monster is special summoned, you select 1 dragon monster in your graveyard, equip it to this card. This card gains attack equal to the equipped attack, and it gains 1 heart attack for each monster card in your graveyard. If this card be destroyed by battle, you can destroy the equipped monster instead. So 1000 attack, it stacks stacks up, though, after you equip your dragon monster, obviously, and then if you have tons of other monsters in your graveyard as well, whether it be the ones sent to the extra deck by Claw, or just the ones you sent there yourself, you can get him up pretty high for attack. Usually always have him over 3,000, so you can hit over a pretty good amount of monsters that are on the field for sure. And I also run 1 Cyberdarkness Dragon. You need 5 Cyberdark effect monsters to make this card, and it must first be fusion summon. If this card is special summon, you can equip 1 dragon or machine monster from your graveyard to this card. Gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to it, and when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send 1 equipped card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation if you do destroy that card. So 2,000 attack and defense is a little bump up from Cyberdark Dragon, obviously, but that effect negation, along with your trap cards you run, definitely does come in handy, and the fact that you can equip your dragon or machine type monsters also is an added plus. And then just the 5-headed dragons, you have the target for the future fusion plays, and like I said before, running the phalanx can help with just additional search to the graveyard for the 5-headed dragon if you open up too many of your Cyberdark dragon monsters. And I also run 2 Elder Entity Knits. This card is used because of Cyberdark Claw. With its effect to send from the extra deck to the graveyard, you can basically send this and then pop a card your opponent controls. I might run 3. I like 2 just because I also run Chimera Rafflesia, because when this card's sent, it lets you search out a fusion spell. So you have that option, and Knits, depending on what you want to do for your play at that time. And then for just the generic support, also 1 Baguska, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Tornado Dragon, and 1 Rafflesia for the rank 4 plays for when you can make them. And then for the rank 3s, just 1 Grand Pulse if you have Leviair and you want to use it just to work with some of your banished plays as well. You could take out the Rafflesia or, one of the other 3 Exceeds, depending on which one you just prefer to run over it. And then for the Link monsters, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Underclock Taker, and 1 Wee Witch Apprentice, because they are all darks. So that option to add back definitely does come in handy as well. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.